And we're going to begin today with Dodie. She's from Sarasota area, H&I, and we'll go ahead and let her take it from here.
Hi, I'm an addict and my name is Dodie, and I'm overwhelmed at the moment. Didn't expect that to happen. It's awesome that there's so many people here from all around the world. I mean, how awesome is that? And so thank you all for showing up. You know, if anybody would have told me I would be part of getting technology and e-literature on a tablet, I wouldn't even know what the hell you were talking about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I'm not very technologically savvy. So this is truly a miracle that has happened in my life. And I would not have done this alone, that's for sure. I want to first and foremost give thanks to my higher power for giving me the courage and the energy to persevere through the last several years that we had to go through to do this. And then secondly, I want to thank Sarasota County Sheriff's Department. They are awesome in having empathy and compassion for the suffering addict and the inmates that are locked up in Sarasota County Jail. About 3 years ago, what had happened was we were told as an H&I, I'm a member of H&I, and I was a service coordinator, the jail coordinator for the women inmates, female inmates. And we were told that there no longer can be any hard copies of any sort brought into the jail. And we were baffled. I mean, like we didn't know what to do. And so the reason is because number one, like when we're new, we like to hoard, and we had a whole lot of stuff. This is what we were told. There was a whole lot of stuff. Lieutenant Tracy's here to share on that part, but mostly because all inmates that got processed into the Sarasota County Jail were given tablets. And on the tablets, initially, Lieutenant Nelson and Ivan Nelson and I worked closely with World Service Organization to try to get like a basic text and the Just for Today downloaded on the tablets for the inmates. And this was pre-pandemic. And I was working with Bob S. from World and myself and Lieutenant Nelson, and I'm sure his right-hand person was Lieutenant Tracy, because they're all in the service area in the jail. And what had happened was the attorney for GTL and the attorney for NA were working with each other and going back and forth. And we were, every like month I would check in with World, any progress? No, there's still, one made a compromise. It wasn't good enough for, it was just insanity. And so I couldn't tell you exactly when, but I had mentioned something to somebody, and we were talking about we don't get it on na.org as all this public information. I don't understand what the problem is. And so through all the back and forth, and then the pandemic hit, and they had to let people go on, I don't know what you call it, it's kind of like a layoff, but there's another word for it and it just left my mind. But anyway, they weren't there anymore. And I was now dealing with Jane, and she was taking care of public relations and hospitals and institutions, and she was our go-to person. And so what I had done was, when there were a couple times when I sent emails, I had gotten other NA members, and when they say there's a power greater than ourselves at work, certainly a power greater than myself is us right here. There's power in numbers. And so, and I hope none of my message gives the inclination that I'm anti-world, because I'm not. I mean, they do good work. I mean, we are now worldwide, and everywhere we go, NA is available. So that's not my message. My message is that we just had to figure out a way where world wasn't compromised, and we weren't compromised. And we finally, I finally sent an email with a lot of other members being part of this email saying, our literature is on na.org. Can we get some of the stuff that's in public information onto the tablets in the jail? And we finally worked that out. And what we came to, there was a few of us jail volunteers that got together and thought that I'm going to show you, I'm going to share a screen on the amount, I think there are 8 or 9 of them that we had concluded were probably the most appropriate. If we had to limit the amount of attachments to the tablet, because they wanted to protect themselves as well, what they used was a blank copyright permission form such as this. And this is what they used for the world to sign off and allow these PDF files that are on our website to be downloaded to the tablets on the inmates. So, you know, I have to tell you, there was nothing, you know, tricky about anything. It just took a lot of patience and a lot of perseverance and a lot of patience on the sheriff's side, because they stuck with it as well. And they helped, you know, they just kept going until we finally got to a position where we could get stuff downloaded on our tablets. Now we're in a position where I heard somewhere that there's an audio version of the basic text, because the sheriff's department still, and again, Lieutenant Tracy's here with her, she's going to share a few minutes as well, that they're interested in the basic text, and we can't get the basic text in there anymore, no hard copies of any sort. So we wanted the basic text to get downloaded on each tablet, and we haven't gotten over that barrier yet. We're hoping it'll come up in the car, but that's another topic. I'm sorry. And so there is an audio version that I was told that we may be able to get that onto the tablet. So currently we're working on that. I'm waiting to hear from World on what their decision is for us. And all I can say, it just takes a lot of perseverance and patience. And I don't know how I did it, because normally I'm short on both of them. So it was certainly a higher power that helped me. The sheriff's department, I mean, Lieutenant Tracy, I'm so grateful for you and your staff, and Lieutenant Nelson. It's unbelievable. And by the way, I'm going to back up a little bit. I thanked my higher power. I thanked the sheriff's department. I want to thank Paul and Ryan and Linda. Who did I miss? Paul, Ryan, Steve. They were the 5 of us that met, and it was Paul's idea with a few other people to put this together. And again, the love of the fellowship and the love that we have to just want to give back, because I know for me, I'll never live long enough to give back to Narcotics Anonymous what it's given me. And my first message of Narcotics Anonymous was when I was incarcerated, and this is where my heart is. And so I am really impressed with the Sheriff's Department of Sarasota County, because they've got all kind of programs now going on for recovering addicts. And so it was a simple process. It wasn't so easy, but it was very simple. And isn't that our scoop anyway? Simplicity is the key. So yeah, and that's all I've got. So I don't know if you want me to just kind of segue into introducing Lieutenant Arlene Tracy, or what would you like me to do? Ryan, Steve?
That
tell
would be
me.
great. If you want to introduce Arlene Tracy, that would be wonderful.
Okay, so I'm going to say again, she has been an advocate for addicts. You know, the majority of people getting locked, it's not a secret that they're alcohol and drug offenders. And we know what the recidivism rate is without programs like Narcotics Anonymous and other programs. And Lieutenant Tracy sees the recidivism. If anybody sees it, I'm sure she does. And she's got a heart for us. And I love what you do, and I thank you. And without further ado, she's going to share her experience with this process. So Lieutenant Arlene Tracy, it's all yours now.
Thanks, Dodie. First of all, can everybody hear me okay? Okay. I just wanted to say thank you to everything that everybody at NA does, because obviously, you know, we wouldn't have a recovery program without you guys coming in and volunteering. So a huge thank you to everybody that comes in. For those of you who don't know, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office opened an addiction recovery pod in 2009 for the men, and then a couple of years later, one for the females as well. Obviously, during the pandemic, it was a little bit strugglesome on our end. However, we were able to do some of these Zoom meetings like we're doing now for the individuals in there. In January of 2019, I reached out to NA because we had switched over to the tablets, which Jody has kind of already summarized for you, to find out if we could put the actual NA book on our tablet. They said that GTL's attorneys were working with NA's attorneys. So I kind of left it alone at that time in January. And then I reached back out in July of 2019, and it was the same thing. The attorneys were still working on it. And that was with Jane, she's been wonderful to work with. Anytime I reach out to her, she lets me know what's going on. And like Dodie mentioned, we have been able to put some items back onto the tablet. And I know that if you go onto the website, a lot of this stuff is free for those of us who aren't incarcerated. Unfortunately, you know, it does say copyright on it, even though, you know, we can go on and we can view it. It does say the copyright. That's why we have to use the copyright form on our end. And now we do have the actual physical NA books in our recovery pods, and if there's a meeting. However, we have 900 inmates, and there's only 48 inmates in each pod, and then those that attend the meetings can have, you know, the literature then. So we have all these inmates without the access of NA, and that's where we're really trying to get the book on there so that they have access to NA the entire time they're, you know, they're incarcerated, because that's a huge part of their recovery, is be able to read the material, study the material. So that's kind of like our role in trying to get that information on the tablet. And we do not charge, and any information that we upload on the tablet is free for anybody. So none of this stuff is, you know, no inmates are being charged to view this information. We haven't, you know, we've just been struggling to get it onto the tablet at this point. So we're still kind of waiting for the attorneys to iron it out. There was hope for a little bit there, but I think they are still working on it. I guess that's where we're at right now, and I'm kind of excited to hear what other areas have been able to get on their tablets, to see if there's something that we can do to push our agenda forward to get it on our tablets in Sarasota. But did anybody have any questions for me?
If there's any questions, okay, John F. Cleveland.
Yeah, I have a question. Explain to us what GTL is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the relationship with the World Service Office, and or what, you know, what is it?
Okay, I'm sorry. GTL is the producer of the tablets that we utilize. We actually have GTL, and we also have Smart Communication. Those are just the organizations that own the tablets.
Tori,
all right, thank you.
Tori R.
Hi, Tori Addict. I'm wondering if you're going to give us information on how to reproduce this program throughout the country, and if all Department of Corrections centers have tablets for their inmates, or are some of us going to have to approach this in a different way due to the ruralness of where we are?
The tablets are all individual to the agency. I don't know if the Florida Department of Corrections, I know they were talking about implementing tablets. I don't know if they have done that or not. Sarasota County Sheriff's Office does. Our partners right next door to us, Manatee, as far as I know, have yet to put in tablets. So they are still, utilizing books as far as that goes. And similar to how Dodie spoke, everything we did was via email. So we just emailed Jane, and she was very instrumental in helping us get the copyright signed so that we could put it on the tablets.
Elizabeth?
Hi, thanks. So my question is, were the tablets purchased or donated?
So the company, they're not donated. It is a partnership between Sarasota County Sheriff's Office and GTL. There are a lot of items on the tablets that must be purchased, such as movies and games, and with the smart communications, it's messaging and photos that come back and forth. So there are a lot of paid subscriptions on it. And then we also have the opportunity to download items for free for the inmates.
What about the tablets themselves?
No, the inmates, they're distributed. Inmates do not have to pay for them to have them, no.
So the county is buying these tablets for their inmates?
No, the organization puts them in place, and then they make money off of the individuals purchasing like messaging or sending videos to inmates or making phone calls. So that's how, yeah.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wilhelmina?
Hi, Lieutenant Tracy. My name is Wilvina. I do public relations for the Northeast Zone of Narcotics Anonymous. My question was, are you collecting any usage statistics that the inmates are doing? And I guess by usage, I mean how often the clicks are. Do you have any recorded information about the daily downloads, uploads of that information? And then also in terms of the data purchase for the inmates, like what is the normal purchase rate for that? And what series of tablet are you guys using? So I'm sorry, that was 3 questions.
That's okay. I do not have any data on, what, they've done as far as what they purchase, how much they purchase. I do not, I oversee the jail program, so I don't oversee the contracts or anything with GTL. What series of tablet we have, I'm not 100% sure. I just know it's through GTL, and it is, the correctional based tablet that they provide.
And lastly, is there any video capacity for that? I'm wondering, like during COVID, did they use any of that for like family visitation? Just because to kind of follow up with in the future whether H&I presentations could perhaps be video looking forward.
You mean as far as putting them on the tablet, like something that's recorded?
In terms of like a live visitation that an inmate might have, or a live presentation of a Narcotics Anonymous meeting presentation through a tablet.
Well, we didn't do it via tablet. We did it via Zoom, and we put it in our addiction recovery. So like Dodie and the individuals that were physically coming in were actually able to come in via Zoom, but not on the tablet. It is via Zoom. We do have video visitation, but that's more for family to come and, visit their loved ones that are incarcerated.
And are you in Arizona or Florida?
Sarasota, Florida.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to comment too about purchasing. When you said, were they purchasing any were you referring to purchasing literature, Wilvina?
I was curious about the data package because whether or not like the literature is uploaded, is that part of a
That's-
data package?
that's
Or once
free.
once it's loaded there, they can just access it anytime?
Yes,
Okay, that's perfect.
I believe it's downloaded on all the tablets. So when an inmate is processed and they receive their tablet, it's already on the tablet. They're
Correct.
PDF
Wow.
files. And they're free. Right,
And,
That's
Lieutenant
correct.
Tracy?
yes,
Okay.
correct.
and
Hi, Lieutenant Tracy. I have a question. Are you part of the jail system?
Yes, I work for the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office and I oversee all the jail programs.
So I guess my question is, so do you work with a specific jail or county jail?
Yeah, the Sarasota County Jail.
Okay, so like, you're the sheriff, or like, what's your position there?
I'm a lieutenant and I work inside the jail.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that would be so my question is, to contact someone within the prisons or jails, we have to have a contact that's willing to work with us. And that might be a lieutenant in the jail, or because our guy was not very friendly with helping it. We stopped doing our H&I because they weren't organizing it anymore. They didn't really care about us coming, the volunteers. So the volunteers would have to wait like 40 minutes and then they wouldn't get taken up, and then the guards didn't have anybody in the rooms ready. So, and then where we're at here in Michigan, nobody's allowed in to do any volunteer yet. And they don't have any access to books or anything. They put them all in boxes. So anyway.
I would suggest asking with the sheriff's department of that county for services, correction services, and see if there's somebody that's involved in like outreach services, for instance. They always have church, different programs that come in. That might be the starting point. And if nobody still can go into any facility, Zoom was always an option. It worked well, I think, when we had to do it. But I would start with service programs, like outreach or something like that. Ask if they have a department like that.
Maybe sometimes they have a chaplain, and that's a good resource to connect out to, is to a chaplain. Also, we're very blessed because our administration from the sheriff on down is, on board with all these programs. So it's not just myself, it's the whole administration backs, these programs. So I'm very fortunate on that end.
Yes, you are. We're not anymore. It depends when our sheriff changes. So our new sheriff has changed and he's not really on board with it. So, but I'm going to give it a try.
all right, thank you. Sherry?
Yes, hi. Thanks, Lieutenant Tracy. Quick question. What is the flow as far as does GTL upload the literature once you send the copyright to them? Or what is that exact flow between GTO, NAS, and the sheriff's office?
Well, I believe once the actual book gets approved, then GTL will download that. But the literature that we have received copyright rights on, that Dodie spoke of, I'm able to download those.
Okay, so you're doing that part of it with the informational pamphlets, but
Yeah.
the book, the basic text hasn't been put on. Okay, because at one point we were told that GTL or JPay actually uploads the information. So it's good to know that the sheriff's department has the ability to access the tablets to where they can upload the information too. So thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. Linda?
Attic name Linda. Hi, everybody. Really glad you all are here today. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Tracy, for coming, and the others that we have on here. Listen, just wanted to let you know, as part of the committee that helped put this on today, what we realized was that between Sarasota County and their experience as being the first to be able to do this, and then Ohio following, and then us in Arizona. We all had a different experience. And so the reason why we wanted to do this today is because we each wanted to present our step-by-step, not just to present it to you, that each area or region is going to be different. And so we just wanted to give you the gamut of what we've done and our information. If we can help with your process, we want to help. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.